Happy Black History Month. Black History Month has been a little redundant and boring and expected. What I've come to understand about Black History Month is that we continue to pay homage to Africans who have contributed to the overall society, overall white society. And in doing so, we have this big chest-filled pride for the Africans who, the first person to do open heart surgery, Mama Harriet, who helped Africans escape from slavery. We have Martin Luther King, who fought for integration and civil rights of African people, and a whole bunch of other more people that I'm sure that you recognize being in the American school system. But, I think we need to turn Black History Month way up. This month, at the very least, because we're not ready for a worldwide African revolution, but if we're going to resolve ourselves to a month, and this month should do more. We should honor and celebrate our revolutionary past, present, and future. And we can do that by giving white people and the US and European governments the opportunity to make reparations. And in the process, allowing Africans all over the place to understand where we've come from, where we're going. So here are the 14 things that I think would make Black History Month a little bit more revolutionary. Number 1, Africans will not pay any income taxes, sales taxes, or any other tax for that matter during the month of Black History. Seeing as how our ancestors created the foundation for the worldwide capitalist economy and did so against their will for hundreds of years, it would be befitting that Africans get a damn tax break during the month of Black History. Number 2, free or deeply discounted airline tickets to anywhere in the African world. And accompanying that, if you want to go to Africa, that we have direct flights to Africa. We should not have to touch Europe to go to Africa. There can't be no sneaky baggage charges either, because when we go home to Africa, we bring barrels and barrels and bags and bags. So we're not going to be charged for any baggage either. Number 3, Africans will be granted international African citizenship, which will allow us to move through African countries without paying exorbitant visa fees and any other fees associated with traveling to African countries. Number 4, and the entire month of Black History should be used to celebrate Black history, Black family, Black community, Black life. And this can only be done if we have the entire month off of work so that we can take advantage of those free airline tickets that we're gonna get because we're African, right? So we need to take the entire month off, but don't fret. You will get paid because your employer will have to pay you for the entire month as if you were there. And if you are an entrepreneur, don't worry. You'll get your income supplemented by the state or the government in whichever case. We'll figure that out when the time comes. 5, education in all public, private, and charter schools will be African-centered. I know this might scare some white folks, but African-centered education is very diverse and it's very instrumental to the entire worldview. Number 6, African political prisoners will be released. If not all at once, because that may be too much for one president, then one a year until they're all released, until they're all free, until they're all home. Number 7, the angry Black woman will just become a woman. Number 8, small business grants will be given to a lottery of Black folks who want to start a business. Number 9, Blackisms are allowed. And what I mean by Blackisms is your ebonics, is your slang, is your two-tongue voice is everything that makes you black. And I recognize not all black people have black isms, but for those of us who dabble in black isms, we'd be able to say what we want to say and how we want to say it when we want to say it. Number 10, cases of white privilege will be called out all day, every day. Now I'm seeing more and more in our media that white privilege is being called out, that white isms are being called out. And what this means is that if somebody approaches you and says something like, I don't mean to be racist, but do you know where I can score some coke? My dear, you have permission during Black History Month to backhand a motherfucker, and then when the police come, because he would surely call the police and scream brutality from a black person, the police will ask you what happened, and you said, well, he offended me because he thought that I sold coke, or I knew where to get coke because I am black. Police would automatically arrest dude for the affront, or just put him somewhere that, you know, remove him from the establishment. That type of shit. Not only can you call out white privilege or call out white bullshit, you can actually enforce your way over the white bullshit. That's a kind of power that doesn't exist on a normal day-to-day basis, but during Black History Month, we got that. So 11, 100% of your mortgage payments will go toward the principal balance during the month of Black History Month. Now this can happen since you only have a month and you pay your mortgage payments every month. It's just one payment unless you want to double it up. So for the entire year you could be saving up your money so that during Black History Month you like, boom, I got like 10 G's right now that I'm going to put toward especially during tax time that I'm going to put toward my balance of my mortgage, and that will significantly reduce your mortgage principal a lot if you plan well. It will not go to your escrow, it will not go to your taxes, it will not go to MPI, it will not go to anything except for the principal balance, which is the thing that actually needs to be whittled down in order for you to get to own your home a lot quicker. Especially since the black community was the most devastated by the subprime mortgage stuff that bankers were allowed to put past on African people and people of color, that this right here would be a way to get reparations for the money that we lost. 12. So the RBG, Black African Liberation flag, will be flown from every building that has a flag. Oh, how glorious would that be, with the red, black, and green flowing from schools and banks and post offices to recognize the accomplishments of African people to this land, that we fly the flag that was established by Marcus Mosiah Garvey as the flag of the African nation. And 13 is the removal of all African plundered artifacts from Western museums so that they can be returned to the African peoples from whence they came. During colonization and enslavement, African villages, African communities were plundered, and many of the sacred artifacts that were used for those communities were removed. Bronzes, golds, bodies, all of these artifacts need to go back. And number 14, Nat Turner, Yanga's Rebellion, Amilcar Cabral, Thomas Sankara, Maurice Bishop, and a number of other African revolutionaries, African resistance movements that many of you do not know anything about. And this is a problem. When you know more about Greek mythology and European history than you do your own. I think that if we considered, if we all knew about the resistances that happened or is happening at the current time in regards to Africa, our standpoint about what this world is right now will be totally changed. And during Black History Month, we shouldn't just honor Africans who created a telephone. We should honor Africans who actually struggled against oppression and who actually had really, really great campaigns to make those things happen, and progressive governments that would have changed the entire scope of this world had it not been eradicated by imperialist interest. So during this month, we honor those African revolutionaries who laid their lives on the line to ensure that not only equality, but that systematic oppression of African people would end, and that we would have power in our own hands. So with that, that would make a beautiful Black History Month if all those 14 things were implemented. Deuces. Have a very revolutionary African Liberation Month, because that's what I'm calling it for the rest of the month. Now, I realize I didn't get everything, and I'm sure that there's some things that's bubbling around in your head right now as to what can be added to this revolutionary, progressive African Liberation Month. Add it right down there in the comments. I would love to hear it. There were a lot of things that after looking at this video, and there's a lot of things that I just could not formulate in my mind. So if you have an addition, definitely add it to the bottom in the comment section. Oh, and on February 21st, I want everyone to raise up their African martyrs wherever you are located, whether you are in the United States, in Africa, in Europe, in South America, Central America, the Caribbean. Raise up your African martyrs.